Hola, gear nerds. Grady Hansen here for Guitar Gear How To, and I will shamelessly plug my band, Stone Prophet. Find us stoneprophetband.com or on the Facebooks. So I haven't made a video in a bit. I've been kind of slacking. Been busy with the band actually, but I am a proud, lucky, blessed owner of a diesel VHX amplifier. It's a fantastic amp. It's basically a VH4 tube amp, but they've added an effects processor in there, so it's brilliant. But anyways, I am on a group for that amp called Owners of VHX or Diesel VHX Owners, and a guy on there was trying to figure out how to control his amp via Midi. And I know I was the same way when I first started delving into Midi. It was terrifying and confusing. And so he requested that I kind of put out a little Midi for Dummies video. So I am going to use screen record, and I'm just going to use the Line 6 Helix, but it will essentially be the same for any Midi controller. And I'm just going to run through really quickly some of the terms and lingo that are used in Midi, and just the basic essentials on how you can quickly and easily start controlling outboard gear with a Midi controller. So without further ado, let's go to the Line 6 HX edit screen. So right here, what I have opened is the manual for the diesel amp. And in any manual of any piece of equipment that has Midi that you're trying to control, they're usually going to have a section titled Midi or even Midi implementation list. And that's what we have here. So what these are basically the codes you got to put into the buttons on your Midi controller to control these functions. So for an example, right here, continuous controller, that's what CC stands for. Continuous controller number 6 will toggle on a 3 dB boost for this amp to give you your lead boost. So let me show you in HX Edit how we would go about that. It's going to be essentially the same for any MIDI controller that you use. These Helix pedals are amazingly easy to program because they have a desktop editor, and it's all right here for you. Unfortunately, I can't blow up this little screen for the HX Stomp, so if you're on a cell phone, good luck. Watch it at home on a computer. But anyways, this is the command center for the little HX, the little Line 6 Helix HX Stomp that I have hooked up to the computer here. So let's say I want this button on my HX Stomp to activate this 3 dB boost on the Diesel VHX. What I'll do is the first thing you want to do is in both the manuals, the one for your MIDI controller and the one for the device you're trying to control, learn how to set its MIDI channel. And in this case, we're going to use MIDI channel 1. So I have put the HX Stomp on MIDI channel 1 and the Diesel is on MIDI channel 1. So now they're talking to each other. So now all we have to do is go up right here. It's asking us to select the type of command we want to do. We're going to do a MIDI CC command, MIDI continuous controller. Okay, so, and there's two different types. So this MIDI CC would be for an expression pedal if you wanted to control a wah or a volume. And then we've got CC toggle. Excuse me, a little cold going on. So we're going to choose toggle because we just want to toggle that lead boost on and off. And over here in the Diesel manual, hopefully you can see my mouse here, it's telling us that CC6 will turn on that boost. So on this CC number right here, we're just going to go up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And now, when we press that button, it's going to toggle it on and off. There's some other stuff you're going to see right here where my mouse is, other MIDI commands. These, if you want to get more in depth, I'm just going to show you the basic stuffs here. I will show you this one that says latching or momentary. What that does is that chooses if when you press that button and release your foot off of it, it's going to latch to the command. So it's going to turn on that boost, and it's going to stay on until you press that button again. If you use momentary, that boost will only be happening while you're pressing down on the pedal. And when you let off the pedal, it'll go back to normal. So that's what that's all about. Okay? When you get into expression pedals, you're going to have these values. You have this MIDI CC value. So that's where you can control, like, let's say on a wah, the range of it. You'll be able to control the full sweep. Or a volume pedal. You have 0 volume at 0, and at 127 you'll have full volume. MIDI works from 0 to 127. But it's just the same. Just think of it as 0 through 100. And when you're trying to turn things on and or off, you just cut that value in half. So anything below 120, so anything below half of 127, which is what, 63, is going to turn your device or the function off. Anything above 63 is going to turn it on. So if you want to turn something off, put it at 0. If you want to turn it on, put it at 127. That easy. And then there's one more thing I'm going to show you. So, like, for instance, on the diesel here, it has presets in it, just like a modeler, even though it's an amp. It's brilliant. But, so presets are also referred to as programs. Right here you see this program change message. So that's another thing you're going to see a lot is, let's go to this button, and you're going to see something referred to as a MIDI PC change. That's a program change. So let's say we want this button on the HX Stomp to take my Diesel VHX to program number 5. So we're going to go here to bank program. That's what Helix calls it, but it's usually referred to as PC, program change. We're going to choose that we want to give it a program change command on this button. We're going to make sure we're on MIDI channel 1. And then right here where it says program, we just put in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And bam, now when we press on this button, it's going to take the Diesel to program number 5. It's that easy, guys. Don't be scared. You'll get it. And one more thing I should point out is MIDI does work from 0 to 127 on values. So sometimes if your equipment only works from 1 to 127 or 1 to 126, there might be a little offset. So sometimes you might tell your MIDI controller to change the preset on your amp to preset 5, and for some reason it'll keep going to 4. That's just because it's not savvying the 0. So sometimes you have to kind of just make up for that. And sometimes in the case of the Diesel, they have an offset function in there to where you can offset that little abnormality. I said that weird. But anyways, hopefully you get what I mean. Any questions, leave them in the comments below. I hope this helped some of you out and relieved a little bit of fear and confusion. Have an awesome day.